All right, good day everyone. Like I promised you guys, I'll be giving you guys the correction to yesterday's game we played on the group. Okay, and I believe everyone coming to this place already has the basic knowledge or ideas about what pointers are. But for the purpose of this video, I'll do a very quick recap. A pointer, like we all know, is a variable that holds the address of another variable, the address of another pointer, or the address of a function. But this video today, I'll be looking at just pointer holding the address of a variable and then a pointer holding the address of a pointer. Okay, so at this first, you have this first part on your screen where you have a. So I initialized an integer n. Okay, so this first line is called integer initialization. So integer is n, and the second line I assigned a value to n. So at this point n is 15. So let's take note. Now the third line will have integer asterisk p. So if you want to initialize a pointer, you use the asterisk sign. Okay, but then it tells nothing yet. You're just telling the computer that p here is a pointer pointing to what you don't know. Now the next line, we are telling the computer or the system that p is actually holding the address of n. Okay, so take note, if your variable is an integer, the pointer also should be an integer. So it would be wrong to have a variable that is an integer and your pointer is a character using char. Okay, so take note, the types must always correspond. So if the variable is integer, the pointer must always be an integer also. All right, so look at these first examples given here. Values were initialized and then they were assigned. Okay, it's a very long process. This version is very long. And then you have these ones where I have the address of n to be equal to these, address of p, address of c, address of d, and address of w. The essence is to provide uniformity to our answers. Okay, because we are using different systems. So if you should just do that on your own, you have different answers. So the reason why I provided these addresses is just to have a uniform answer. Okay, so if you look at this place where you have integer asterisk c, we are telling the system that c is also a pointer, but it's a pointer that points to a pointer. Okay, so if you have just one asterisk assigned to your pointer, you are telling the system that this is just a pointer pointing to a variable. If you have two asterisks, you're telling the system that this is a pointer that points to a pointer. If you have three, you are telling the system that this is a pointer that points to a pointer that points to a pointer. Okay, that is just the logic. And you can see the symbol of ampersand, this and. C is equal to and ampersand p. This tells us that c holds the address to p, or the address of p. And that, okay, and you can see the address of p and all of the other ones here. So let's go directly to this. This was what I provided you guys with on the group. So at this first line, I initialized and assigned just once, unlike what you see here. This place I initialized and then I assigned the value, but here I did the both process in just a line. This is an integer and the value is 5. This is a pointer pointing to an integer and the value is the address of n. Okay, this is a pointer pointing to a pointer that points to an integer. Okay, and the value is the address of p, and so on and so forth. Okay, all right, so let's now move over to the questions and see. So for the purpose of this video, I avoided the use of syntax associated with C programming language, so I just want to teach it raw, then you can apply the syntax and all of the other things necessary. Okay, so assuming the above given were correct, what is the value of the following? Here you have just p, but take note, to solve this question, if you're very new, if you don't want to use this b, this you can just go to a. Okay, A is somewhat basic. It's somewhat basic, so you can follow very easily with A. Okay, so now to get the answers to these 15 questions, or 14 questions rather, we'll be asking ourselves a series of questions. If you can ask yourself these questions properly, I think you're good to go. So the first one is, what is the value of P? Okay, very simple. You just go over to this place. What is P? From here, P, you can see this point. P is the address of N. Then you come to this place. What's the address of N? The address of N is 0x00. So the answer to this is 0x00. Okay, so that's the value of P. Now question number 2, you have asterisk C. Okay, but here C has double asterisk. Okay, but just forget about the asterisk attached to C. Now ask yourself this question: what is C? From here, what is C? Okay, C contains the address of P. The next question you ask, what is P? P contains the address of N. The last question, what is N? N is 15. As you can see, okay, if you do this, then you're very close to getting the answers right. We have asterisks. How many asterisks do I have on C here? Just one. Okay, so it means after asking yourself this question, you just move a step down to get the answer to this, because you have just one asterisk. If you have two asterisks, you move 2 steps down after you've answered this question. So I started by asking myself, what is C? C is the address of P. What is P? P is the address of N. What is N? N is number 15, or the value 15. So asterisk C, okay, which is used for dereferencing. Because it has one asterisk, I don't want to go into the intricacies. Because it is one asterisk, you're going down a step to get the value of C. If I should go down a step from C, I'm getting to P. So asterisk C is the address of N. And what is the address of N? From here, the address of N is 0x00. 0x00. So that's the answer. 0x00. Now let's move over to this. Ask yourself the same question. Asterisk P, what is the value? First, what is P? P is the address of N. What is N? N is 15. Since you have just one asterisk, you're moving a step down. So if I move a step downward, asterisk P is equal to this thing here, which is 15. Okay, so that is it. What is asterisk D? Follow the same pattern to get it. I will do number 5. Please do number 4 yourself. Do number 4 yourself. Now let's go to number 5. You ask the same question, leave the asterisk, just ask yourself, what is D? From here you can know what D is from the above examples given. So D is the address of C. You ask yourself, what is C? C is the address of P. You ask yourself, what is P? P is the address of N. What is N? N is 15. And because you have 2 asterisks to D, you're moving 2 steps downwards. So from D to C, and from C to P. So asterisk D is the address of N. And what is the address of N? You go over to this place to find the address of N, and that is your answer. Over to number 6. Asterisk P. 2 asterisks before P. So ask yourself, what is C? Rather, 2 asterisks before C. What is C? C is the address of P. What is P? P is the address of N. What is N? N is 15. Because you have 2 asterisks to these pointers, you're moving 2 steps downwards. So I'll go from C to P, 1, from P to N, 2. So asterisk C is equal to 15. Hope you're following. Number 7, asterisk D. 3 asterisks to D. So we've answered the question of D here. So you're going 3 places. 1, 2, 3. The answer is 15. Okay. All right, so with this pattern, you can do number 8. You can also solve number 9. So take number 8 and number 9. They are the same thing irrespective of the brackets. Okay, then number 10 and 11. Number 10 is asking you what is the address of P. Whenever you see this ampersand sign, it means address of this P. Okay, you go above, get the address of P. And what is ampersand D? Address of D. Now let's come over to this place. Interestingly, now you have asterisk W. okay, which is equal to 30. It means I've dereferenced W. And if we remember, W has 4 asterisks. It means W is pointing to a pointer that points to a pointer that points to a pointer that points to the address of a value. So at this point, if I should use 4 asterisks, it's called dereferencing. Okay, so I've dereferenced W. I've assigned the value of whatever is contained in the address of W to become 30. And if you should follow this, W at the end will lead us to the value of N, which is the first thing we started with. So this is just like saying I've changed the value of N from what it was initially, from 15 here, okay, to becoming 30 here. Take note, this is different. This is different. If I say W is 30, it's quite different. Okay, it will not give you the same thing. You're not dereferencing. But use of this 4 asterisks means I've dereferenced the value of N. So this statement means wherever you see N now, N is no longer 15 as it was initially. N is now 30. Okay, now over to this place. I also dereferenced D. I said D, pointer D, is equal to pointer P plus 6. Ask yourself, what is pointer P? Okay, from here, as you can see, pointer P holds the address here. Okay, not here, from here, yes. Pointer P holds the address of N. You must also know the difference between the use of pointer P and the use of just P. They are different. If you should see this P, this is the pointer P. So P, this P alone is the address of N. But this is different. You are telling the system that you are changing the value contained in the address of P. In the address of P, we have, in the value of P, P is holding the value of address to N. Now if you add asterisk to P, you are changing the value, okay? You are changing the value holding the address. In other words, you're changing the value of N directly from here. Okay, so this statement here, asterisk D, is equal to asterisk to pointer P, which is the value. P is holding the address of N. The value of N is what? 15. So you're changing it. And remember, N has changed from 15 to 30. So this place is now saying 30 plus 6. Alright, so asterisk D is equal to this asterisk P plus 6. So the value now, we have dereferenced it from 30 to becoming 36. I just hope this makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Alright. Okay, so question 12 is asking you what is the value of N. N is no longer 15. From what it was initially here, it's no longer 15. Neither is N 30. Okay, if this line of code was not written here, N will be 30. But because this one is involved, we are changing the value of N now from 30 to become 30 plus 6. So N is 36. And if you ask yourself what is asterisk P? Asterisk P is still trying to tell us the value of N, which will still be 36. And lastly, you can do number 14 yourself. Ask yourself, what is W? What is the next thing? Ask yourself those questions we ask ourselves here. And then when you answer, you look at this. We have 2 asterisks. Then you move down 2 places. Just you go 2 steps down and you get the value of W. I hope this makes sense. Please help subscribe to this channel to encourage me so I can do better. Thank you.